As we enter into this place where impressions of the past still linger, we envision ourselves being encircled by a white radiance, fortifying us from anything evil in this home. And we just ask for protection against anything that would cause any of us any harm on our purpose this day.
Tonight on We Are in Control, Lights Out Paranormal, a group of paranormal investigators from Pennsylvania that in 3 short years have already built an impressive case history that both details and disproves paranormal phenomena. Already well known in their area, Lights Out Paranormal brings technical expertise and sound methodology to their investigations, bolstering their reputation and even leading to an appearance on national television. I was invited to join members Jim Willing, Anthony Newhart, Tom Onaskanich, Zach O'Hawk, and Lisa Moyer for an investigation of an old house in central Pennsylvania. I experienced firsthand the dedication, the belief, and the desire to answer the question, is this place haunted? Tonight's episode is a bit different in form and function. What you are about to hear are interviews with the group, plus I'll be talking with the family that dwells in the home that the group was tasked to investigate. You'll be hearing the sessions they conducted that evening to try and gather information for the homeowners. Before the visit to the house, I spoke to co-founder Jim Willing about how Lights Out Paranormal got started and how their first mission went.
I'm a co-founder of the group, and I mentioned it to, actually Anthony and I were talking about it for a while, and said that would be cool, to do something like that. Seeing it on TV, of course. Mm-hmm. Then working with another co-worker of ours who unfortunately can't be here today, is the other co-founder, Chris LaBarge. Chris and I decided, let's try it. We started with $250 on a MasterCard and bought some equipment, and it started from there. It was a snowball effect. Mm-hmm. Got more and more clients, word of mouth, and then that's where we really started meeting the people that is really helping Lights Out move along. Anthony really stepped up his whole role in Lights Out. He became the video tech. Zach is kind of like his apprentice. Lisa came into the picture. She's our medium. She picks up on energies and spirits. Mm-hmm. And Tom, just all around good tech guy. He can do EVP work. He's just like good at just about everything that we do.
Right.
So we really surround ourselves with the right people. It was just about 3 years ago, September 20th.
Okay.
3 years, what is that, 2008.
Yeah.
And the $250, that went towards the basic equipment that you see, which is EMF detectors, mm-hmm. electromagnetic fields, which, and it really they're designed to pick up electromagnetic field in cell phone usage, or microwaves, anything that has like any kind of, uses electric. Mm-hmm. And you could tell the range of what it uses, and supposedly the theory is when the electromagnetic field changes, that and there's nothing that could really cause it around as far as electric, then you kind of, the theory is there could be a spirit around. So that's the equipment we started with, inexpensive EMF detectors.
Okay. And then it was just kind of your observation? Correct. At that point, like, were you taking any pictures at the time or trying to capture any other kind of evidence?
I'll be honest with you, the first investigation was in an abandoned farmhouse. It was more of a test run. Mm-hmm. The floors were falling in. As a matter of fact, the owner came up to the house. He was going to knock it down in 3 weeks after we were there. Yeah. He walks in, he looks at the floor, he goes, oh wow, it dropped another 4 inches. But we still went in. We really wanted to practice. Yeah. And we were dragging extension cords around the whole place to power our cameras. Mm. Really was a mess, to be honest with you.
Right on.
But after that first session we had, the next one was 50 times better. We knew so much more as to what we needed and what we needed to do to make us better. And then probably within the first 6 months of that time from when we started, we really were on our way to being a more credible group.
I was curious as to some of the members' opinions about paranormal phenomena. Lisa Moyer and Tom Onaskanich revealed their thoughts.
Well, I've had experiences ever since I was a kid.
Okay.
So, and that would go back to, say, my earliest memories were in my grandparents' farmhouse back in South Dakota, versus hearing things to just getting the whole feeling, and what I consider saying being a sensitive, that I can pick up extra energy around of what I would consider energy, spirits of people, or what used to be people. I guess I believe that even after you're out of your shell of your body, there's still energy there, whether you want to call it a soul, energy, your spirit, that kind of thing. I don't know what else to add to that. I mean, and that's the point, that I have to be able to take the time to tune into it, to where I can just not be tuned into it. So I guess, in a way, I can turn it on and off.
Oh, okay.
According to, the situation, what I think and feel. I know, like, at the last investigation where we were at, there was an energy where I didn't want to be bothered with it, because I didn't like the feeling I was getting from it. So I put that mental wall up for it to not pass and to bother me.
So there are definite emotions that, are the emotions, are they your emotions from what you're feeling, or can you feel emotions from what you...
I feel like their vibe. I get, that's the best way I can describe it. I can feel the vibe that they are giving off, whether it be a situation that had happened. Negativity is a big one, because that's just hard to hide from people, I think, a lot of the time. And just happiness, neutral, hey, I'm just here hanging out, that kind of thing. Different places that we've been, it's been different experiences, different types of people, / spirit, souls, energies, whatever the label. I like to call them energies. That just kind of puts it in a nutshell for me.
Okay, so you're more comfortable describing it like that.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the skeptics in the group. I try to rationalize everything and look, and I'll be the first to admit to anyone if I have no logical explanation for something. I think looking at different things is you try to look for a rationale. If something happens, how could that possibly happen? Can we explain it? Especially going in helping somebody. If you're going into a person's home and they're freaked out, maybe they're freaked out by something they've experienced in the past, and what's actually freaking them out is just something that naturally happens. Maybe like refrigerator kicking on causes something else, something along that lines. As far as spiritually, I want to think there's something out there. I mean, we've definitely had experiences that I cannot explain. I mean, our Animal Planet footage where we had an EMF detector that actually blinks, shows, it has like a magnetic sensor on it that if you were looking for wires or something in a wall, the closer you got to the wires, the faster it blinks.
Okay.
Just laying on a bed, not going off at all of a sudden it just started blinking. We asked questions like, hey, can you make it blink faster? Instantly it would just start blinking faster. We'd ask it to stop, it would stop. I mean, that's just something that, how do you explain that?
I've seen that clip. Okay. Yeah. I just remember.
That's the one that was on the Animal Planet. Yeah. I mean, and that was probably my first, in this group, actual paranormal experience without, going over evidence review and hearing stuff on a recorder. But, yeah, that was definitely something, I mean, logically, unless somebody was holding something electric and turning it off and on right there laying on the bed, there's really no logical explanation for it.
We arrive at the house and meet the family, a polite group that greets us warmly. The investigators are greeted much as any other professional group, say plumbers or electricians.
Well, with our recorders, I mean, you can really specifically hear, tires on the freeway. They're so sensitive,
Yeah, then there's the Scotch Valley's right here.
Okay.
Except for that retarded car.
Yeah, but there's mostly when you heard them were out front here. The fire pit used to be right there with that clump of trees.
Okay.
And it sounded like it was coming down through the yard.
And am I correct to say that you found an arrowhead on the property? Okay. a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Still have it.
Yeah, you still have it.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to see it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, we could use that as like a. Well, you don't have to get it right now. When we come
It's
back,
like,
we'll,
it's right there. Yeah.
we'll
She'll
use.
get it.
Yeah.
We're so
We can use that as maybe like a trigger object or something. So.
They're going to use it as a trigger object.
Well, it's one of those things, if you put it away, then you can never find it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a really good one, too.
What else, Zach? Where did you find this? Out front?
Right out beside the back door
Okay.
when they were digging around back there.
Okay.
There's
It was just
probably
laying
some
there.
And you
the
said
dark.
the quarry
Yeah.
is close by.
That's where we had the fire last night. It was like up.
There is, of course, an aspect of healthy skepticism. I witness a comment that a group like this must face from time to time.
You're Ghostbusters, huh?
Kind of. We don't bust a whole lot, but we go.
More or less research on
You
that.
don't get slime like on the movie.
No, well, a couple times. It didn't come from any ectoplasm.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
So you're interested in the drums, huh?
Well, and then I, speaking to Amy over the phone a few times, I asked if there was anything else that was going on, and wasn't there some sort of activity inside the home as well?
The
You
old
talked to
part.
them.
Well, you would just see, you know how if you're staying in one room, nobody else has ever seen it.
I walk fast through the dining room. I do not linger in the dining room.
You'd just be doing something and be like, you thought you saw somebody go by.
But she's here the most, right?
Like out of your periffs or something,
Right.
shadow kind of deal.
Shadow.
Okay.
I always called Shadow Guy.
Shadow guy.
He's not there.
Do you mind us going in the house?
No, go ahead. You can go right in there.
Well, what? Tour us around here.
I'll be the mastermind. Let's
Okay.
go.
Amy will do it.
I've been around here long
All right.
enough.
So, the dining room sounds like a good place to start. Thanks,
The group uses this time to interview the family about what they have witnessed or felt. Jim does a good job of maintaining a level of comfort with the family, hopefully assuaging any fears they may have about allowing strangers into their home. The family continues to detail the history of the house, plus things that they have seen or heard, including what the mother calls Shadow Man.
But you never see the Shadow Guy. He just goes from here and he disappears.
From where to where?
Usually just across here.
Like from this corner towards me?
Yeah, like if you're standing out here messing around, you know how you think somebody
Yes.
goes through a room and you go to say it and it's not there.
Yes.
It's just
And it's okay. So it's possible that there could be some sort of a spirit moving and going up the steps.
yeah. So I come out and look thinking once somebody was home, there's nothing.
Yeah, I know. How many times have you said that we think somebody comes home and it's nobody?
Yeah.
That happens like all the time.
Is it because of the sound of the door or
No,
something?
no
The
door
steps.
sounds.
Okay, but it's thumping like footsteps in the home.
No, mostly it's
Yeah.
creaking like
Creaking.
somebody
Yeah, the
walking
floors
across the
creak
stair.
like crazy.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because remember that? What was that one night that the dogs were going crazy and we heard that creaking upstairs? It was like around Christmas time, and we're all sitting down there, and like this step, like upstairs, was creaking, and Mav was going crazy.
Okay.
That's the only time that I really remember it.
And now look in his before you added on. No, this was all done. They did all this and then we moved in.
Okay.
I didn't know.
This was added on 13
So
years
how
ago.
recently have you seen the shadow? When's the last time you've seen
when
it?
you first moved in? Is that right?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it since?
Oh yeah, it's just any time. I mean, you
It
could
just
walk
kinda
down
happens.
here tonight and it just goes through and that's it.
Okay.
I just think it's so funny that you're so like, whatever. I see Shadow Man, whatever.
Yeah.
That's like,
If you haven't felt like any harm.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't affect you.
Right. I mean, hey, anybody would really be creeped out. I mean, I say anybody.
Well,
but I mean,
first it was like, oh heck, that wasn't a kid.
Yeah.
You're certain, what am I seeing things? And then it would just happen and it was
Right.
like, nope, wasn't kids.
Okay. But most of the time, was it in a certain spot, or it's
Just like I said, it goes like from the
so
front
most
to
of
the
the time
back.
in the dining room. Okay.
He seems to go that way,
Okay.
not wander around. You know, it's not
Takes
like
one certain path all the time.
between the hutch and the table, just shoots across and disappears.
It almost seems like two different camera angles in
Yeah, I already have it.
Later,
Two
the
of
group
them
has a
already.
meeting away from the family to discuss their initial thoughts about the house and how they might approach the investigation.
Stories inside the house. Through the dining room, there has been a shadow being seen out of the corner of the mother's eye while she's in the kitchen, taking the same path every time, from the back corner of the dining room, following across, and either going up the steps or going into the other room. She's not sure. It just kind of, she loses sight of it at a certain time. Bedroom doors are opening and closing by themselves, only a few inches at a time though, which really seems to be that somebody's opening an outside door and it's causing a vacuum to open the door a few inches, and then as they close it, the door goes back to where it was. That's what I think.
Easily
And they're
tested.
We can test that, yeah, definitely.
well, yeah, they're thinking that it almost looks like somebody's opening up the door, peeping in, and then closing the door. You know what I mean? Not necessarily
Yeah, right.
opening all the way and walking in.
Anthony and I were also discussing about where the mom says she stands in the kitchen and then where she thinks she's seeing the shadow man, to when we went in the basement. And I'm really glad we did go in the basement because of where all the wiring is, where the water system is, where the main electrical board is down in the basement. And we're kind of saying that where she's standing in the kitchen could be right
Really
above.
check on
Yeah,
Mhm.
high
Good
EMF
idea.
fields.
Yeah,
you know.
that's I really wanted to check the EMF
Okay.
through there.
Really good idea. Yeah, also, let's walk outside, see if we cast any kind of shadow on the wall. Which I'm assuming she's home by herself when
Yeah.
she sees us, because I think that's what she said.
Yeah,
Nobody
she
else
said
is
nobody
home.
was home. Said she thought somebody came home when she'd see that shadow,
Right.
and nobody would be there.
Now, I know they're kind of far off the road, but let's really, you can see the highway at a certain point. There could be glares off the cars coming and shooting through the window. It could, the glare could shoot up to the chandelier and bounce onto the wall, and it's round glass. You hit something like that, goes around the round glass, it's going to whip around the room.
Okay.
Let's really pay attention to that, too, how light travels through the dining room.
Lisa Moyer details her feelings about the presence in the house.
Picked up in the house.
I definitely have male on the first floor. He's pretty prominent. I would say middle-aged. No negative vibe. Nothing. Nothing that I would think there. It's just like I said to Anthony, like just cohabitation kind of a thing.
Okay.
And I get a female on the second floor, and I didn't really pick up on her till I was down at the end of the hallway in the doorway of Mark's room, which then there is, I don't know if you saw the case of all those old dolls.
No. Oh, the
There's
the curio or whatever that is
there
in
were
the
some
corner.
older ones in there.
I did see
so-
that. To let you know, I don't know if you noticed, but when I said to spirits will sometimes hide out in basements and attics until the house gets calmed down in the middle of the night, I heard Mark's mom say the entrance to the attic is in
It's in
Mark's
Mark's
room.
room, yeah, and I took a peek up there.
Also, back to evidence too. I want to throw it out before we forget the creaking of the
Thank you.
hallway upstairs. They're hearing almost like the footsteps, not necessarily footsteps, but the creaking of footsteps. Like when you walk on a loose floorboard and it rubs, weeky weeky, they're hearing that in the hallway upstairs.
And Anthony Newhart talks about the camera placement.
I was thinking, well, you already know about you already mentioned to me the two in the dining room. We're doing the one from the kitchen shooting through into the dining room, and then also one from the room that we were last in where the basement door is, shooting the opposite way. So we catch, both ways
So we're
going.
only doing 4.
Yeah, we're only going to have to do 4, I think, too.
Okay.
And then the other one I was thinking was top of the steps, the hallway, that they hear the creaking. So if something's
Yes.
walking down the hall, no brainer. And then I also asked Lisa what she felt, where she think would be a good idea, what she's feeling, the biggest vibe, and she said bedroom. So
Okay.
she was saying maybe in the hallway facing his bedroom door and catching the...
We return to the site, and the group begins setting up their equipment to form a type of command central in the family room of the house. Jim Willing mentions a prayer that he likes to recite before the sessions begin.
Prayer that you're looking for.
And here's the other one.
What is?
So these are the two chargers.
What exactly is that? Like, what
It's
There's one here and one there. Yep.
basically just almost like a prayer of protection,
We got it.
where if there is anything that's negative here, basically would leave us alone.
Okay.
That's what we're hoping anyway.
Right.
We've had a situation that actually happened to me before we actually started investigating while we're setting up equipment.
Right.
I got scratched in the leg by something. I don't remember scratching my leg. I can't say that I didn't do it getting out of the car, but all of a sudden my leg started burning, and I looked down and I had a scratch on my leg.
Wow.
So what we
Zach, we're
do,
gonna need short.
what we do from now on is basically when we're setting up equipment, we'll do our prayer of protection. And,
Okay.
basically
You could do a
just
round one, too.
focusing on a white light encircling us and
Yeah, around
protecting
this.
us.
There should be a-
Right before the first session begins, I joined the family in the living room and asked them what moved them to contact Lights Out Paranormal. So, now you lived, you said you lived here 13 years?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And the additions to the house were already made when you got here?
No.
we
No?
put the
We-
addition.
Oh, okay. I thought I understood something else.
No,
there.
he's a builder.
I see.
So we bought the original part, and they were working on it and adding this all on at the same time.
Okay. How old is the original house?
Would you say?
Well, he said the deed dated back to 1859.
Okay.
Before 1859, the house was.
Right. And you found an arrowhead on the property. You were showing us that earlier. So, who's the first person to see or hear something?
I saw Shadow Man. I've seen Shadow Man since we lived here.
Oh, okay. So soon after you moved in.
Yeah.
And Shadow Man, this is you saw a shadow move across the room?
He moves across the dining room.
Really? Do you still see him regularly?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
There's no set time. I mean, you couldn't say it's on, Tuesday or something, but I mean, it'll either happen once a week or once a month, but he just still shoots across.
Okay, so
the
there's no
dining-
regularity to it or
No.
anything like that. Okay. And so noises, you've heard noises, you said you heard drum beats.
That's when you're outside.
Uh-huh. That's at late at night.
Usually.
After 10 usually.
What have you thought about calling anybody before? No.
We just
It
played
all
it
yeah,
off.
it all started. I emailed and asked them if it was possible. I didn't even we didn't want an investigation. He just kind of offered, and then it just went from there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
How'd you
just
find them?
I was just searching like Pennsylvania. I just got on some Pennsylvania website that had all the paranormal research teams, and I just found one that looked most. I liked your everybody has a story, because I always believe that everybody has a ghost story. Then there's people that don't believe, but everybody has a story.
Yeah. Sure.
Never told
I just
anybody.
heard drum beats in the middle of the night, and then we just all started talking about it, and I realized that she had so many stories, and they all have heard it. And
Mm-hmm. So have all of you heard things or seen things?
Yeah, we have. He hasn't.
I haven't heard anything, but
Okay.
I'm not here a lot of times at night and stuff, so.
Right on.
Yeah.
But they've all heard the drums.
Yeah, normally it was after we would do fires up front, and then you'd be sitting around them, and if they got quiet, you could hear them then, so. But it was usually at least after 10 or 11 or later, so.
Really? And so it sounded like drum beats, you said, like a...
yeah, it's one of those things that you can't really believe it until you hear it.
Okay.
I didn't believe them. I'm like, y'all are crazy.
Sometimes it lasts for 30 seconds.
Yeah, it lasts for a while.
Pretty loud?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Far away?
I have no idea.
It's hard to tell. It's just kind of off in the distance.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But with being down in here, I mean, it could travel down or.
Yeah, but didn't you say you and your dad one time that you heard them, you got on your 4-wheeler and went and tried to find them? They went and tried to find them, and it's just
it's that. It sounded like there was someone in the woods.
Yeah. We didn't tell them that. We should have told them that.
It just sounds like if you're standing out in the front porch, that strip of yard you saw between here and the creek.
Yeah.
It seems to come down through there.
Right.
It's just a really strange noise, and I'm glad I heard it, because I really would never, ever have believed it. And I didn't think that you could ever have enough energy. And then especially when he said about the limestone and the water, and there's cricks and limestone everywhere here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Is that pretty much the extent of it? Like you've kind of seen that over the years, and then you hear the drum beats. Is there anything else?
Just the creaking in the floors, like you're hearing from them walking upstairs.
Right. But this is happening when nobody's walking.
When she's by herself,
When
yeah.
there's nobody else here but me.
or
and the
we'll be
doors
like
creak.
this, like all down here. Or like, and the dogs would be going crazy, and there'd be stuff going on upstairs. And
That's very interesting. So you said the dogs kind of react a certain way.
Yeah,
or
wasn't it
They'll
like,
stare up the steps and.
wasn't that like Christmas? Like we were all down here for Christmas,
Mhm.
and like Mab, the little black dog, was like up at the top of the steps, just staring at nothing.
Right.
And it's just like, what are they looking at? And then he like came down, like followed down the steps, and stared at the basement.
Runs down to the basement.
It's like he was following somebody.
Interesting. Yeah, animals are very sensitive. You know, they
Yeah.
can sense
That's what-
earthquakes
That's
and
what
things.
he said. Like it's like he's looking at something.
Yeah.
And she says he's seen, or he'll look just right. He'll just stare at stuff.
Yeah.
In like the room, he'll like look in the room
Yeah.
door.
He stops at the doorway and stares into his bed. He doesn't growl or do anything, but that's the only room he does it in.
Okay.
Which is
The
Well,
other
that's-
rooms, he'll go into them, sniff around, leave. That room, he stops at that top step, puts his head down like he's trying to find somebody and or look at something, and then he turns around and leaves.
Oh.
So, I mean, are you all kind of on the same page with this? I mean, are you all of a mind? Like, have you seen anything?
Me?
No, you haven't seen anything.
Yeah, he's our skeptic.
No.
I've never seen
said anything because.
But you're probably like me. You're probably not here a lot. You know, probably
I've never
working.
Well, I don't know. I didn't say nothing. I didn't want the guys with the funny white coat to come and get me.
Yeah, I think like once I started speaking up, like these drums are crazy. We gotta do something, and then it just everybody just started talking about it, and then I don't know. You've heard the drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only one I first heard them.
How long ago was that? Like when you first moved here?
Yeah.
So we've been hearing. Well, I haven't. Yins have been hearing drums. I'm just like, I don't live here. Yins have been hearing drums for 13 years.
I don't know how long, but
No, it's been a few years since I've heard them.
Well, we used to have fires outside.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And it'd be out there
All the
late at
time.
night, you know, and that's when you'd hear them.
But we had a fire last night and didn't hear anything.
We were out until like 1, and we didn't hear anything, so I don't know.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's nah, yeah. He wants to join.
You didn't hear them all the time. You would hear them though.
Once in a while, yeah.
Now the problem here is
the way
the way the sound travels. I mean, with this hill, when you're out front, because that's where we would do it. I mean, to me it sounded like it came from back that way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where that guy lives?
But you know,
Done.
you can't
Stay
tell
back
with
that
this
way.
hill the way the sound travels.
Right.
You go outside here,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I can tell. You know, you can tell when people are shooting and stuff. If they're hunting, you know, there's people hunting and the way the shots are and everything.
I'm completely convinced. I'll believe anything Lisa says.
I don't know. They just could be real. I don't know if they are or not.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like it just feels different in this house than it feels in my house. I
A
live in
little
a brand
later,
new
the
house,
first EVP session
you
begins.
know, and it just
The lights go out, most of the family leaves, and we sit around the dining room table.
Headphones are on.
Lisa addresses the night air in hopes of prompting activity from Shadow Man.
Oh, hello. We're talking to anybody here that would, of any form or entity or spirit, that would like to communicate with us. My name is Lisa. To my left is Amy. To her left is Brian. To his left is Anthony. And then to my right is Jimmy. And we're just here to hopefully communicate with you in some way. Are you the man that walks through the dining room? Do you know what year it is now? That's me adjusting in my chair. Did you used to live in this house? If you could try to muster up as much energy as possible and talk to as close to us as possible. We have machines that can hopefully record your voice that we could probably hear it later at some point. Could you tell us your name? Did you used to work in the quarry that's over up the hill? Is your name Warren? Just to know, I could hear a car driving by. Are you a man? Are you a boy?
About 3 minutes in, members begin to hear things.
I heard a click. So are you a boy? Can you make that sound again?
Is there somebody talking in the background?
No.
I could have sworn I heard somebody talking.
Are you walking in the kitchen? Just to note, there's a car driving up the driveway.
Brian, is that tapping the table? Is that touching the table?
No, I've got it off the table. The my recorder is on legs on the table. But now my camera's.
I thought it was that, but I almost hear. It sounded like footsteps, but you know, if the slightest tap on here sounds like footsteps.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought I heard some noise in the kitchen, like on the kitchen floor.
This is creepy.
It's all right, Tom. I'm gonna turn the recorder. You're gonna be deaf here.
If you need to leave it all right now, just let us know.
Are you okay, Amy?
Yeah, I'm okay.
All right.
It's just weird. Like, I'm just used to watching this on TV.
What's all that?
That was my knuckles. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's all right.
So were you just trying to talk to us? Because we think that we heard you. Can you try to be louder?
I did hear a bang out in the distance.
What is that?
I heard that too. It sounds like it's behind Brian. Is that you behind Brian? Can you make maybe a louder sound for us? Because if you do that, then we can know that you're trying to let us know that you're here.
And shift your weight side to side.
Something turned on in the basement.
Yeah. Is it a sump pump?
I don't know.
It's been awful dry though. I don't know why a sump pump would.
There was water, like piping and stuff on the side of the basement. and it's like I'm sitting
It's
right on
vibrating
top
my
of
chair.
it. Yeah, big time.
Shifting weight, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Shifting.
Yeah, it's not you. Brian, what about you? Sit back in the chair a little bit, push
Okay.
against the back. No, it's not that either.
It's nothing that turned on down here either.
Yeah, it's in the old part of the basement. I think it might be that water softener or something.
Tom, I was trying to debunk like the sounds almost sounded like little footsteps or something. Hopefully that turns off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never really heard that before, so it shouldn't be long.
Okay,
I don't think I moved.
there it is.
That was my.
That's a table.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it is you. It might be you.
I don't really,
It sounds like footsteps to this thing, yeah.
but I don't think I was moving then.
We have it on video too. If we go back, I don't think she was.
I don't think you were. Yeah, 'cause I didn't
I don't
hear
think
you
I was-
particularly.
Tom.
Okay, so we could go back. Could you tell us your name? And like I said, talk super, super, super loud. Oh, did anybody else hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Are you in the kitchen? Can you make 2 taps for yes on something that you are in the kitchen? Did something just turn on though?
I don't know.
Did you hear that?
I heard
Yeah,
it.
it almost
did.
sounded like a refrigerator turned on at first, but I didn't hear
That's
compressor running.
right.
It just went click, click.
If that
I
was,
heard definitely 2 taps.
could you please do that again? That was very good. Two more taps, please.
Feel free to follow us around tonight. We're going to be in the house for a little while longer yet. But right now we're going to be leaving the dining room. Okay? And we're going to listen back here to see if you made any kind of communication with us. If you did, I appreciate that.
Real quick before we go, Amy, do you have anything you want to add?
Not yet.
Any questions? Okay.
Maybe why does he always show himself to? Why not me?
Do you think you'll scare if she sees you? I thought I heard something immediately after I said
I
that.
thought I heard it like in the kitchen.
How far in?
27 minutes.
Alright, yeah, we better stop.
Hmm.
Well, we're going to be leaving the dining room now. Feel free to follow us around. If you have the ability to, go out, get some of your friends, bring them back in. We hope you find it's fascinating that we're trying to talk to you. Maybe nobody in the past has done something like this, so here's your chance. If there's a message you want to send along, let us know. And we will pass that message along, but you need to communicate in some way or another, okay? Preferably in the ways we ask you to. So with that said, that ends this EVP session. Tom, you might want to turn the headphones off.
After about 20 minutes, Jim decides to wrap up the session. Upon leaving the dining room, they make a disappointing discovery.
Where'd you come from? You were here the whole time? Were you in the kitchen?
Yeah, just standing there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we were thinking we were hearing stuff in here.
Well, I wasn't making any noise.
The unaccounted presence of people or animals during a session immediately renders any captured sounds or video unusable, as they could easily be explained away as human intervention. A similar incident would take place later in the evening. For the second EVP session, we gather in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Lisa Moyer begins the questioning.
We're here to talk or communicate with whoever is here to listen or talk with us. My name is Lisa. To my right is Zach. To his right is Brian. And then you should know me because they live here. What was that click? Was that you, Tom?
Is that me? It did sound like it was Zach.
Yeah.
It was you? Okay, sorry. We're just wondering if there's someone here that has something to say, something you need to tell us. There's some black boxes and wires and stuff here on the bed. If you get real close to this like silver rectangle one, if you talk as loud as you can, it might pick up your voice. And that would be a really great way for us to hear you. And here in the middle of the bed is a device that can hopefully detect you and your energy and stuff. And if you get really close here, so you can see the light will light up, and that could be a good way we could communicate, or we could answer questions by making it blink. So if you can get close enough to this little black knobby end thing on it, you can see it'll make the thing light up.
That's me moving around.
So first we want to know, is there anybody here with us? Can you make some kind of noise or make this thing that light up red and make it blink? Could you make a tapping noise on something? What was that?
That was me moving.
Okay. Did you used to live in this house? Did you hear that?
No, but I'm picking up. I don't know if Anthony can hear this, but it almost sounds like I'm picking up like a TV or radio or something. It sounds like.
I don't hear anything down here.
Might be just what I'm picking up then.
I think it's RF.
Might be. It almost sounds like it would be like downstairs or something, that there's like a TV on in the background or something. So I think it might be picking up something.
You still getting it?
Did this used to be your room? Can you tell us your name? When is your birthday? Did you live in this house and work in the quarry?
That was me. music or something going on.
Could it be because you're next to like a clock radio or something behind you? I don't know.
It's picking up from there.
Oh, okay. Duh. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry. Do you need the light, Brian?
I'm good. I got it.
Oh.
Thank you.
I hear someone can make the door move. You think you can try that? Because that would be something really cool.
After a time, Tom Oniscana tries his hand.
How about not think you can try? How about just doing it? You gotta show us that you're here.
How about the person that walks in the hallway and makes the floor creak? Can you try that for us now?
And again, not try, just do it. Don't be too nice.
Sorry.
Or too polite. Just do it. We're here to communicate with you. If you don't do it, if you don't help us out, we can't help you. Show us you're here. Knock something over. Slam a door, shut a door. Something. Just don't touch us. Make a noise, make a bang. Make the TV turn on. Something.
A third session was conducted in the upstairs hallway with similar results. However, near the end of that session, noises were heard at the bottom of the steps that entered the living room. This led to several minutes of questioning and recording to get to the bottom of the observation. At the end of the session, the team realized that several family members had re-entered the home and were sitting in the living room. This mirrored the disappointing revelation at the end of the first session. The next morning, I discussed the problem of noise contamination from human intervention with Lisa and Tom in the car ride back to the hotel.
You just kind of got to deal with it. You know, some people want to be involved, some people want to do their own thing, you know. They want to do their own thing, and you can't really tell them, hey, you can't do this in your own house, you know. You kind of just gotta go with it.
Yeah.
But then doesn't that, though, like any audio that we recorded, how do we know then if it was actually answers to questions on a paranormal level versus it was the people
As
in the
much
house?
as it sucks, you gotta...
But to me, then that's all thrown out then.
Then that's what you deal with, and you just go back to them and say, hey, this is what we got. Nothing.
Okay.
Because, I mean, how would you like it if I came in your house and said, hey, you gotta leave?
No, but
Yeah.
that's what, I get that, but it was kind of like, then there should be some ground rules too and some understanding.
Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering
if we're
about.
coming in your home, you don't need to leave, but then you either need to be either a command central so we know that you're not, you know,
But it's not,
contaminating
we
in
can't
yours.
really
I
tell
can't
people what
say
to
that.
do in their own home either. Because technically they can just go, well, if you want us to do certain things, screw it, get out. And now we just wasted a
But-
3.5 hour trip to go.
But they wanted us to come though.
Right, but if we start putting stipulations and telling them what to do, certain people won't handle it the same way. You have multiple personalities that if, like the skeptical father that, you know, hey, I'm just going along with it because the rest of my family is.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I got these bunch of yo-yos coming to my house telling me what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
Screw it, get out. You know, so you kind of... We're in it for them. We're not in it for ourselves. So that's the other point is we're there for them. We really gotta cater to them, kind of, almost like the customer's always right kind of thing.
There's got to be a way to suggest, though, just kind of, not telling them, but, creating the environment of information where it says, look, here's the scoop. A lot of times, external things can contaminate these setups, coming in, family members moving around. Like, normally we recommend that maybe if there's somebody, in the house or something like that, you stay with us at Command Central or take part in the investigation by sitting in the same room so we know where you are and, maybe even participating. Kind of like, what's her name? The girl. Right.
Usually we kind of do. Mm-hmm. I think we just kind of were out of our element because, one, it was a long trip. Two, we were running late. Three, we have people doing stuff that they don't normally do, setting up. So you're kind of out of your element. You're missing stuff. You're trying to be diligent. And then when you're halfway through and try and say, hey, don't do this. Yeah. Kind of. It's a tough situation because you're going into somebody's home and you really want to do your job, but you don't want to tell them what they can and can't do.
Right. Shortly afterwards, Jim Willing calls the homeowner with the findings. He discusses the sound contamination problem that ultimately rendered the investigation unusable.
There were a couple of things that we had heard on our audio, but we kind of ruled them out as to be nothing. It's like either, people walking in and out, because we had, there was a lot of noise contamination whenever somebody would enter the room while we were doing a session or something. We could hear the footsteps, we could hear people kind of moving around, sitting down and stuff like that. So unfortunately, if we would catch something, we're not even really in a position to be comfortable enough to say, hey, we caught this noise, we can't explain it because of how many people were in the house last night, you know what I mean? So even accidentally, if somebody just creaked the floor or something, it's too coincidence that there were people in the house and there was noises. With all that said, we don't have anything really to show for you or for you to listen to anything. If you were okay, we were just going to shoot back home now because we have a long drive, unless you wanted to meet with us face to face for some reason. What do you think? Yeah. Okay. What we do, we also have, like a mini DVD recorders that we can go through yet, but they usually pick up what the DVR cameras and the audio picks up anyway. So, there really wasn't anything that caught our eye with that. So we can kind of go over that stuff a little bit more, but we really didn't come up with anything. And with the contamination, it was really difficult to say anything was there. All right, so tell Amy she can feel better about being in the dining room at least. She can sit down to a home-cooked meal finally. All right. All right, well, hey, it was a pleasure meeting all you guys. And, stay in touch if you need some kind of advice or something's going on. Don't be afraid to give us a call. All right? All right, say hi too. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
We then discuss his feelings about the evening.
Well, like I said, unfortunately, with how many people are in the house, and we've had this before where there was a few investigations where there was a lot of people in the home. No matter how much you say, you need to be perfectly quiet because we can't tell a homeowner, you need to go outside. It's their home. The best I can do, and I did that last night, is say any kind of noise, we're going to pick it up.
Right.
You make any noise. I can hear you whisper from 50 feet away. Just to sum it all up, it was a little disappointing just because even if we caught an EVP that was just a miracle of us getting at that point, we can't say It was anything more than a human sitting inside the house.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, unfortunately, but you know, that's also why we do what we do, and you know, we go over the evidence, and if there's nothing that completely stands out that we can't say it was one of them in the house, and we're not going to present it. You know, we stick to our guns.
You have to fight the urge to be like, well, you know, didn't find anything. I mean, we probably did, but we wouldn't know because
That's right.
you know, you kept farting into your lazy boy.
That's right.
So
that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, you know, and you know, we could easily have, just for the sake of their entertainment, we could have brought them some dust flying around.
Yeah.
We could have brought them, you know, somebody's stomach making noises, because a stomach making noises on a recorder is the same as a woman's voice.
Sure.
It makes the same exact sound.
Yeah.
But,
got me in trouble many times.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So and I can tell that you're a little frustrated, certainly, but also, you know, the last thing that you said, that'd also be very important, not to bring them something like that either, just to kind of, you know, satisfy maybe their urge to kind of confirm that they've got something there or whatever, because that would kind of hurt your reputation in the long run, you know. So you'd much rather rule it out, you know. When in doubt, throw it out.
Right.
And of course, when they're contaminating the scene like that, it's like, it kind of that had to have been frustrating. I know last night in the back of your mind, it really seemed like it was kind of weighing on you a little bit. There were times where it's like, man, I mean, you know, we can set up all we want here, but you know, if they're going to be lurking around the house,
and you notice, I mean, it's like takes us about an hour to set up all of our equipment. Where we do 3.5 hours of investigating,
plus the 3.5 hour plus drive.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then had to only find what we found here, where there's 6 cats and 4 dogs, and 7 people,
Yeah.
So, and a highway right next
and a
to
highway
the
and
house.
a court,
right.
Just
So,
a lot of acoustical anomalies
that's
probably
right.
pop up. So
well, definitely in the future, we can kind of be in touch with you, and maybe in the next 6 months, 8 months, you can make your way back up, and we'll go to one of our more established places that we're welcome to anytime. Where we found what we think is evidence.
Okay.
And really get the feel, really get the experience of how you do it, how it should go, and what comes out of that.
Gotcha.
So,
all right, man.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Jim.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Brian. You did a good job.
Thanks, dude.
This has been episode 7 of We Are in Control. This episode was brought to you by Lights Out Paranormal. Make sure you visit lightsoutparanormal.webs.com to get the full story. I'd like to thank founding members Jim Willing and Chris LaBarge. I'd also like to thank Anthony Newhart, Tom Oniskonich, Zach O'Hawk, and Lisa Moyer for their hospitality during this time. For more on past episodes and upcoming news, make sure you visit weareincontrol.com. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you have a great night.